Welcome to this session. There are MBAs, engineers, MCAs and other graduates are in the group. The day's topic that we are going to discuss is English. If I'm correct, you people have been in touch with the language for the last 15 to 20 years, right from your LKG till you complete your degree as an engineer or as an MBA. You have been taught, or your medium of instruction is English. But still, I do not know why you people are sitting in this class on English. Why do you want English? What is the reason? What for? Are you not proficient in English all these years? Where do you lack? What else is required? See, if you take a language, any language for that matter, a language is written, read and spoken. If you know the language, you must be thorough, or you must be fluent, or you must be proficient in writing the language, reading the language and speaking. What is your hurdle in speaking the language? Of course, the day's class is on spoken English. What is your trouble? What is the hurdle in making an attempt with speaking the language? Can any one of you say? Okay, there is a deficiency in your level. There is a vast difference in learning one's own tongue and another tongue. Another tongue means here I mean the English. When you started speaking at the age of 2 or 2.5, you just like that started speaking the language. You just observed when your mother spoke or father spoke or some elderly person in the house, when they spoke, you started observing them and then you started mimicking them. This is how you started speaking the language. You were not bothered whether the language has got something called grammar. But when it comes to speaking the language of English, you all fumble. The reason? At the age of 5 or 6, you started, or you were introduced English language, you started reading and writing together at the age of say 5 or 6. After several years, after 15 years or 20 years, still you are not in a position to attain the proficiency or the fluency level that is required to speak the language. The reason is, whenever you want to speak in the language, you have certain hurdles. You think whether I am right in my framing of sentences. Am I correct? Is my grammar correct? This is what is the thinking, or this is what is the thought that abstracts, that acts as an abstraction in your speaking the language. You have to somehow or other overcome this difficulty. You have to attain proficiency in the language, because in our country there are almost 14 languages are spoken. If you are getting a job, if you are going to a place called Maharashtra, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, you have to have a common language, that is the English. If you have another economic life or economic life of 30 years or 35 years, you have to interact with people who have so many other linguistic background. Suppose you speak to a man whose mother tongue is Telugu. You do not know Telugu, he does not understand, or he will not understand Tamil. For you to communicate with the other man, you have to speak only in English. Am I right? Then you have to attain the proficiency that is required in the language. How can you do that? What is the way to speak the language? Suppose you are living, you have an occasion or you have an opportunity to go to a place where the language English is very, very frequently or freely spoken, then probably by observation and mimicking or by imitating people who are speaking the language, you can also learn the language within no time. As a matter of fact, I am telling you, if you are going to US or UK, you are going to stay there for 3 months or 4 months, you can very well acquire the proficiency in English. You can speak like a native speaker. But unfortunately, if you do not go to a foreign land where English is spoken, you are going to stay only your own country where English is not very freely spoken. Nobody at home speaks, nobody at office speaks, nobody in your friend circle speaks. In such a scenario, how do you think you will get the proficiency? In such a case, the only way is to read newspapers on a very regular basis. On a very regular basis, you have to read newspapers. Okay, how reading newspapers will improve your efficiency in speaking English or spoken English? You have to read out the newspaper loudly. You have to read the newspaper very loudly. You have to practice like this at least for 3 months. Every day you have to spend minimum 1 hour or 2 hours. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. 2 hours you spend speaking the language, reading the newspaper. That will improve your efficiency. How? See, in another aspect, I will say, for speaking in your mother tongue, all your sound producing organs like the stomach, the diaphragm, the air pipe, the throat, your tongue, teeth, lips, all those things have been tuned or refined to speak your mother tongue. But your sound producing organs have not been tuned or refined to speak a foreign language like the English. Unless otherwise you prepare your sound producing organs, you will not be able to acquire any proficiency in the language.